Welcome to today's Explainer. So, it's June 24th, 2026, and we are unpacking what is honestly a massive, super urgent shift in cybersecurity. Based on some fascinating recent research, we're going to look really closely at how artificial intelligence has fundamentally broken our absolute best defenses against phishing and DNS abuse. Let's get right into it. Okay, I want you to picture this. You're staring at your inbox, right? And you're looking at an email from a supposed bank official asking for an urgent transfer. It's basically the classic Nigerian prince scam, just completely repackaged for 2026. But here's the thing that absolutely stops you cold. The language is flawless. There are literally zero spelling errors, no awkward phrasing whatsoever. For years, security trainers taught us to look for that classic grammar tell. But folks, that tell is officially dead. And that moment, staring at a flawlessly written scam email, it perfectly reflects a much larger and, frankly, very dangerous paradigm shift.
Section 1. The perfected scam.
Let's really dive into this and compare the eras. Back in the day, traditional phishing relied heavily on human-scale manual effort. We all remember the clunky, broken sentences and those super obvious translation errors, right? But today, AI-enhanced phishing brings us flawless text and incredible automated scaling. It's literally indistinguishable from legitimate communication. And whether that's in Mandarin, Bahasa, Tamil, or Hindi, it reads perfectly. The visual and grammatical rules of thumb that security pros relied on for literally years, large language models have completely dismantled them.
Section 2. AI's phishing playbook.
So how exactly are they pulling this off? Let's pull back the curtain and look at the hidden mechanics here. There are three main ways AI is totally transforming these threats. First up, hyper-personalization at an insane scale, meaning attackers no longer need any local knowledge to target specific demographics. Second, there's the automated background generation and testing of lookalike, or what we call typo-squatted domains. And third, perfectly cloned visual interfaces of corporate or even government portals. The genuinely terrifying reality here is that bad actors can simultaneously pump out perfectly localized fake Indonesian tax notifications and Philippine pension portals and do it completely automatically.
And all of these elements combine into what the research officially defines as the AI phishing package. Basically, it's a perfectly written message in a user's native language, pointing directly to a convincingly cloned interface, all hosted on an evasive lookalike domain. Now think about this. This level of sophisticated, multi-layered attack, that used to take immense resources, intense coordination, and serious human skill. But today, it literally only requires an afternoon of automated generation. Crazy, right?
Section 3. The most vulnerable victims.
Now, as fascinating as the underlying technology is, we really have to shift our focus to the human cost here. We need to understand who is disproportionately getting caught in the crosshairs of these automated systems. Looking specifically at the Asia-Pacific region, the highest-risk demographics share a very clear profile. We're talking about first-generation internet users, young people just entering the digital workforce without any prior training, and communities in lower-income economies that simply lack digital literacy programs. So while the threat sophistication is absolutely skyrocketed on a global level, the actual risk remains heavily concentrated on those arriving online without the built-in self-protective instincts that, veteran users have developed over years of navigating a hostile web.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world impact, which is just striking. Take Vietnam, for example. The government there is rapidly expanding e-services, which means everyday users are suddenly navigating digital-first portals they are totally unfamiliar with. Or over in Bangladesh, you have millions using mobile finance for the very first time, totally lacking any prior digital financial context. And across the Pacific Islands, new connectivity is finally reaching previously offline communities, but comprehensive digital literacy programs are often, completely absent. Basically, every single new digital inclusion milestone creates a fresh, highly localized attack surface for these cloned domains.
Which actually brings us to a rather stark tragedy. Because those obvious grammatical and visual errors are totally gone, the only remaining clue to spot a scam is critically analyzing the actual domain name itself. So users are now entirely reliant on a highly technical defense mechanism, literally reading a URL syntax, which is a skill these specific populations have simply never been taught.
So, what does this all mean? Well, it leads us to a pretty glaring question that we just have to ask ourselves. If the threat has evolved this incredibly fast, why hasn't the system caught up? Why are these people just left totally unprotected? Section 4. A broken governance system. To really understand why these populations remain so vulnerable, we kind of have to face a hard truth. Our digital safety nets and oversight policies, they are calibrated for entirely the wrong era. Look at this timeline. In 2024, ICANN amended its registrar accreditation agreement. Then in February 2025, we saw the launch of Domain Metrica. Good steps, right? But by 2026, AI automation had essentially rendered these manual defenses functionally obsolete. Our existing frameworks were built for an era of slow, manual, human-scale abuse. They are structurally incapable of handling the sheer, automated volume that AI is driving today.
So the crucial point here is what we're calling the reporting disconnect. The entire current governance system relies on one massive assumption, that victims are technically literate. It assumes they know what a domain registrar is and that they actually know how to properly file a formal report. But as we just discussed, the new reality couldn't be more different. The victims being hit the hardest right now are highly targeted, they have zero technical context, and they don't even know these reporting systems exist in the first place. The system and the victims are literally living in two totally different realities.
Now, okay, it's not all grim. While global governance is definitely lagging behind, the private sector is already stepping in with some real innovation. For instance, Ronald, the founder of Trinia, is currently building AI orchestration and trust infrastructure specifically designed for the domain name ecosystem. And that signals loud and clear that private industry actually recognizes this massive industrial shift and is actively building the tools to combat it right now.
But, private industry can't do it alone. Here are the 3 absolutely urgent steps that global organizations like ICANN really must take to overhaul the system. Number 1, we must recalibrate registrar accountability specifically for AI scale automation. Number 2, we've got to connect DNS security explicitly to those vulnerable populations in the Asia-Pacific region. And number 3, we must recognize that AI-enhanced abuse actively undermines our global digital inclusion goals. Look, if we connect the next billion users to the internet without fixing this fundamental flaw, we are basically just serving them up to scammers on a silver platter.
I want to end our explainer today with this thought. If AI has industrialized DNS abuse and removed all the friction that once gave victims a fighting chance, how will we secure the digital future for the next billion internet users? Because right now, this is no longer just a technology problem. It is a full-blown, urgent, global governance crisis. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this vital topic. Keep analyzing those domains, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.